My wife's sister has been inappropriately touching me for years, and my wife always brushed it off with a laugh. Last weekend, though, she crossed a line again, this time while her partner was inside our home. My wife and I began dating at 15. We didn't attend the same school but met through mutual friends. Our relationship was rocky for the first couple of years, breaking up and getting back together until I left school, and we grew more committed. My family owns a sizable rental property business, and back then my siblings and I would clean and prepare properties between tenants. Sometimes we'd hang out in those empty houses, watching movies or just chilling. Anything goes. Occasionally, we'd all be sprawled out on a couch, tangled up together, watching a film. My wife's sister would suddenly grab or squeeze my private area. I mentioned it to my wife, and we both chuckled about it. She'd say her sister was just envious. It wasn't a nightly occurrence, but it happened often enough to notice. Over time, the grabbing turned into stroking, always over my clothes, but still uncomfortable. I told my wife again, and she gave the same dismissive response. I wasn't too bothered, and it became a running joke among the three of us. Even years later, when her sister had a boyfriend, she'd still do it. My wife would make sly comments about it, even in front of her sister's partner. It stopped about 6 or 7 years ago when her sister entered a serious relationship, and now both sides have kids. I hadn't thought about it in ages until it resurfaced last weekend. Her sister and her partner came over for drinks and board games. The evening was going well, and I mentioned I was taking the dog out to the backyard. We recently had our garden redone, and her sister chimed in, saying she hadn't seen it yet and wanted to check it out. While showing her the garden, I proudly pointed out the new bin storage I built. When we got to a secluded spot behind the house, I turned around and she suddenly grabbed me, slipping her hand inside my pants, skin to skin, and started stroking me. She whispered that she wanted to do more. I quickly pulled her hand away, laughed it off nervously, and suggested she'd had too much to drink. We went back inside, and I busied myself cleaning the kitchen until everyone went to bed. The next morning, sitting with my wife, her sister, and her sister's partner, I felt incredibly uneasy, but no one seemed to suspect anything. I haven't brought it up with my wife yet. Since the last time we discussed this, she's had a baby and struggled with self-esteem, despite still being stunning. She's shown signs of insecurity about me and other women, though she has no reason to worry. I'm concerned she won't find this amusing anymore and might think I'm encouraging or inviting these advances, or worse, that I'm somehow at fault. I need advice on how to approach this with both my wife and her sister. Update 1. Thank you to everyone who commented or messaged with advice. It really helped calm my fears about this being turned against me. To those asking why this bothers me or laughing it off, you're part of the issue. My biggest concern was that this could be twisted to make me look like the instigator. Someone suggested getting proof, so I checked our home security footage. It doesn't clearly show the incident, but you can see some sort of interaction, and me standing frozen in place. Watching it stirred up unexpected emotions. Last night, I asked my wife why she let her sister touch me back then. She was caught off guard and admitted she didn't know why she allowed it. She said she's felt guilty in recent years but thought it was over since it stopped, and I hadn't brought it up. She apologized sincerely, explaining that her sister had a crush on me back then, which led to fantasies about sharing me. My wife admitted she played along because she was into that idea herself, and we've explored similar things in our relationship, but never with her sister. When I told her about last weekend, she was stunned, furious, and hurt. She kept checking if I was okay and apologized for not handling it properly before. She asked how many times this happened over the past decade, and I couldn't give an exact number. Update 1 continued. She also wanted to see my text history with her sister, and we went through it, analyzing her messages for anything suspicious. My wife pointed out a few potentially concerning texts. She asked what I wanted to do and promised to support me fully. I thought texting her sister to get a written admission would be smart, so we did that. I brought up the weekend incident and asked if she remembered it. She claimed she was too drunk to recall much. I mentioned I'd already told my wife. Her sister broke down, confessing lingering feelings from years ago that make her act impulsively. She admitted it was wrong, felt ashamed, and promised it wouldn't happen again. She asked how much I told my wife, and I said my wife was reading the texts as we spoke. After that, she went silent until this morning. My wife and I talked more before bed, mostly about the weekend's details and past incidents. She kept apologizing for not supporting me properly, and reassured me she's here for me now. This morning, her sister texted, suggesting just the three of us meet to talk. I haven't replied yet. I'm relieved it's out in the open and that she admitted everything, but I'm overwhelmed with anxiety. I feel awful that my wife might cut her sister off, and I'm worried about what this means for her sister's relationship with her partner. They have a child and are planning a wedding next year. I feel like I've set off a bomb that could destroy their family, even though I know it's not my fault. I'm starting to think therapy might help me process this guilt and clear my head. Thanks again to everyone who offered advice. I couldn't respond to all, but your support meant a lot. Update 2. I took a lot of the feedback from the comments seriously. Initially, I wanted nothing to do with her sister and thought confronting her was her partner's responsibility. But many made valid points. so I decided to talk to him. I responded to my sister-in-law's text about meeting with just me and my wife, saying it wasn't the right next step and that her partner needed to be involved. She replied that she needed time before telling him. I cut contact with her there. I reached out to her partner and asked if he could visit without their child or my sister-in-law. He assumed it was about a surprise Christmas gift. When he arrived yesterday, we sat him down and clarified it was serious. My wife explained the history of her sister's behavior toward me, admitting we didn't handle it properly back then. I then shared what happened last weekend. I expected anger, but he mostly cried. He asked if I'd ever been intimate with her, and I firmly said no, emphasizing I never wanted this and that my wife and I are seeking therapy. He had moments of frustration, but not aimed at me. At one point, he mumbled something about things making sense now, but I didn't press for details. He left in a daze. Soon after, my sister-in-law texted my wife, upset that we told her partner. I think this is my final update. There's likely more drama to come, but I'm relieved this part is done. Surprisingly, my wife and I have grown closer through this. She deeply regrets her past inaction and keeps apologizing, but we're feeling very connected. She's been vocal about reclaiming me, which has been a positive process. I don't plan to see my sister-in-law again and urged her to seek therapy consistently. My wife hasn't blocked her but deletes her texts as they come and says she's done with her. I hope my sister-in-law and her partner find a way through this, but my gut says their relationship may not survive. I hope they prioritize their child and get the help they need. I still feel guilty, but I know that's normal. Thank you to everyone who shared advice or messaged me. I read everything, even if I couldn't reply. Your words helped more than you know. Some suggested legal action, but I won't pursue it. It would drag this out, and any outcome wouldn't be worth it. I just want to move forward and leave this behind. Thank you all.